Welcome to Learning to Glow, a show about wellness, skin health, and self-development. I'm your host, Jess. I'm a mom, entrepreneur, and skincare expert. I'm so excited to share tips on how to achieve healthy skin and bring amazing guests in the field of health, fitness, aging gracefully, and personal growth. Let's explore all different ways we can take care of ourselves as women, both inside and out, to truly shine. So let's get glowing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Learning to Glow podcast. Today, I'm sharing something that we all could use this time of year, and that's how to stay calm, grounded, and present during the holidays, especially since we are the day before Thanksgiving as this podcast is released. I'm talking through some of the things that I've learned from hosting Thanksgiving over the years, including how I finally let go of that perfectionist energy that used to make me crazy. I'll walk you through the simple mindset shifts and boundaries that have helped me enjoy the day so much more, and why managing your thoughts is truly the secret to a peaceful holiday. We'll get into some micro gratitude practices that I have started implementing into my life and easy self-care practices. Also, ways to protect your energy even when family dynamics get a little interesting, or if you have to deal with quote unquote difficult people. I know we all have in one way or another, but since it is Thanksgiving week, I'm also sharing a reminder that my Black Friday sale is live this week for Simply Just Skincare. So go and check out my website. And as always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, but this is my biggest sale of the year. And it is going to be live tonight if you are listening to this when this podcast is released. I'm wishing you guys the best holiday, the best week, and I hope you enjoy this one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learning to Glow podcast. So glad that you're with me. So this episode is going to air the day before Thanksgiving, the 26th of November. And I wanted to do a little bit of a holiday episode just because I know this can be a really challenging time for a lot of people. And I want to talk about some of the ways that we can help regulate our nervous system, which I know a lot of people talk about. And honestly, more importantly, is get a hold of our mind and our thoughts as we go through this period of maybe more stress and overwhelm. Maybe not. Maybe you have a really great, an easy week coming and it's like your favorite and you love hosting or you love going to your family's house or whatever. I know there's a lot of people who don't have that, and there's a lot of stress and overwhelm that can come up, and I feel like there's a lot of suffering and pain that can be avoided if we keep in mind a few things. And I'm going to share with you guys about what I plan on doing, and thankfully, I have it pretty easy. I didn't always like this holiday. I used to hate Thanksgiving, and there used to be drama in my family and when I was growing up and things. And now there's not. Like, I'm so lucky. I love my in-laws so much. I have a small family and they are great. So it's very easy for me now and lucky for me in that way, especially this year, because if you listen to my episode about time, and if you haven't, you should go back and listen. I shared that I am hosting, but I'm not doing the dinner this year. I'm picking up. And that's something that I really had to let go of control surrounding, because I used to be like wanting to do everything from scratch, especially Thanksgiving. Like, that was my jam. I have a book of all my favorite recipes that are great, that like kind of my go-tos, but it just takes so much time, effort, and money. And I just didn't feel like I had the capacity to do that this year. So I am making this is like going to be such an easy breezy Thanksgiving day for me. And I have some rituals around the day as well, which I'll get into. But before we get into all of that, I just want to mention, because I do have my infamous Black Friday sale with my product, Simply Just Skincare. If you are a Simply Just listener and you are listening to this the day that it comes out or this week, make sure that you are looking into my Black Friday sale. It's once a year. It will start Wednesday night at midnight. So the 26th of November 2025, if you're listening to this, the biggest sale of the year. It is on until I'm like classic. I don't start these Black Friday sales in August, like some of these skincare brands are doing, or whatever brand. I do a traditional Black Friday sale. I did start it a little bit earlier in the last several years, but tonight at midnight, and it will go through Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday. If there's anything that you need from my line, it's a huge sale. So I'll just let you know here it is 30% off everything. That is enormous. I never go that high for discounts, but I feel like you got to really make it worth it for Black Friday. I also have kits. I have a brand new kit called Glass Skin Kit, and it is 3 of my top sellers. I have a mini repair toner that goes in this glass skin kit, and this is so good for travel. So you can take it with you on the airplane because it's small enough ounce wise, and you can stick it in your purse. You can have it through the holidays when this climate changes and your skin is getting drier. It's something really great to have with you. It helps protect your skin. It just deeply hydrates. So that is brand new, and it is only until supplies last. It comes in a cute little bag, and it's a full size undo serum, which is our hyaluronic acid. It's our toner, and it's our reboot restorative oil. So all of the products that you need to have beautiful glass skin, if you guys have heard that term before, which is really what my product line is designed to do, just soothe, hydrate. And you can get all of that at my website, simplyjustskincare.com, and you can get everything for 30% off. So make sure that you go sign up for my newsletter as well, because I'll have different alerts letting you guys know when the sale is good and when it ends. If you have questions about what is the best product for you, you can send us an email or a DM on Instagram, and we can help sort that out for you as well. So because it's Thanksgiving and thanks is in the word, so we have to talk a little bit about gratitude and being thankful and how this helps. And, in a way that is helpful and not just like, another thing that we have to do or think about, and how it can help support your nervous system. There is a lot of things that can trigger us around the holidays. It can be family stuff. It can be just you're overstimulated. There's so much going on. The expectations, like I was talking about, I used to have this dinner that was like made from scratch and beautiful, and everything had to be perfect, and it would really stress me out because I wanted it to be a certain way, and how like kind of letting that go and focusing on what's really important in the day, in the gathering, has just like, it just takes so much pressure and stress off of me. And like, it gets me into a state of, okay, I can enjoy this. This is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be enjoyed. So we are just overloaded, and if we get to a place where we're already kind of on the edge and all these things are happening and we have all these places that we need to be, or, you're a working mom and all of a sudden your kids are off Monday through Friday and you got to sort that out. It's funny, like when I was a kid, we got Thanksgiving off and we got the day after Thanksgiving off. And now, I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot more to think about nowadays. There's a lot more days off, it feels like. And so when you are, already feeling at capacity, little things can set you off. Little things can seem so much bigger than they are. That is something that we can feel and that can be experienced in our nervous system. I love to talk about this, and this is something that I love to talk about when it comes to this time of year, the holidays and everything, what you can control and what you can't control. For an example, if you're getting together with family and there's going to be a dynamic of just different types of people getting together with their issues and your issues, and then you have people's moods and stress levels, and it could be topics that are taboo that come up that trigger people or whatever it is. There's could be energy that's mixed up in the room. It could be just stress from things that are out of your control. You could be stuck in traffic, or like just different things that you can't control can really affect us. And that's when we have to get back to like, what's here that we can control? Let's do that and let go of as much of the rest as that we can. So we can control our boundaries and we can control how we show up And I think that's really important because if you're in a situation with your family or somebody is like triggering you and you don't show up in a way that feels good or that you can be proud of, now you have the double emotional burden of, okay, that really pissed me off. And now I'm mad at myself because I didn't show up in a way that I wanted to. So, I wanted to share a few things that you can do to help you get through those. But keep in mind, we have to be aware of the things that we can and can't control. And, sometimes we just have to let people be who they are. I think that when you're dealing with difficult people, especially people maybe you don't see all the time, or, the another thing is there's alcohol, you've got people consuming alcohol and you have people saying things that maybe they wouldn't normally say or do because they're under the influence. There's certain family members that you have to be like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? Or what are they going to say? And so I think knowing that there's a way to deal with people and without trying to absorb all of their energy. And I know that's super hard to do. Trust me. I've had to deal with difficult people. It's like I have to self-coach myself sometimes because there are in my brain, I'm like, okay, I want to be happy, positive. I want to look on the bright side. And I do that for the most part. But also, when you're dealing with somebody who's difficult in your eyes, and that's just a thought, by the way, that they're difficult, that's not a fact. We're just saying, okay, they're being difficult or they are difficult. But that's not a fact. Like that's just a thought that we're having. So we can play around with the thoughts that we're having as well when it comes to difficult people. But let's just say this person's pretty hard to deal with sometimes. And what is a way that I can show up and not take on that energy and that stuff that I don't want to take on so that I can enjoy myself and have a good time? And I think something that I've just learned to do is just let them be who they are. Like we're not responsible for changing people. We're not responsible for making them act a certain way because we don't have that power. And if you think you do, you're lying to yourself. So I think releasing a lot of control in the situation with family, I think releasing control with like perfectionism within yourself, if you're hosting, that is just such a great way to just let it go. And, that feeling of being a little bit lighter because you're not trying to take on things that you literally cannot control. And there are things that you can control, but also ask yourself, is that necessary? Like, is it necessary that everything's perfect? Is it necessary that everything look a certain way? Or let's get to the why of why we're having people over here in the first place. And what do I want to accomplish after having this gathering or whatever it might be? I think also just having compassion can help soften the feeling and the pressure as well, even though that can be hard to do. It does help in my experience to, yeah, let them be them. We don't need to fix anyone here. And it just helps alleviate the stress of it all. Sometimes it's like, I need a break. I'm going to go take a walk or I'm going to go to the other room or whatever. Protecting yourself is also important. And maybe that means just like excusing yourself and having some type of a break and remembering, you can do what you need to do for your well-being as well. And I love this other thing that I heard on a podcast. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, but they talked about micro gratitude. That's not like something that feels overwhelming. Like, obviously, Thanksgiving is a day where we give thanks and we think about all the things we're grateful for. But I think micro gratitude is such a good thing to take with us all the time. Even just thinking of a thing that you're grateful for, it could be in 5 seconds. It's not a list. It's not like I have to sit down and journal for 20 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm so grateful that it's not raining right now as a Californian that's had a lot of rain this week. Oh my God, the sun is out. What little thing am I grateful for in this moment? That can shift a lot. And if you guys have listened to my episode with Carol Look, who is a EFT practitioner, she talks about the science behind gratitude. It's incredible. Like it blew my mind. And I have her book too, which was so, so good. If you haven't listened to that episode, I'll link it in the show notes. But gratitude is so life-changing. And when you are already busy and like have a lot of things going on, let's not make a whole new thing for you to do, but just remembering like what little thing in this moment can I be grateful for? Because there is always something. And I think one of the most important things that I've learned when I was learning to be a life coach and just learning about this world of self-coaching and life coaching and the thoughts that we have, which I think is one of the biggest things that have helped me in my whole life, is doing thought work and thinking about what we think about. I think the power of our thoughts during this time is more important than ever, and being very aware of what they are and not just letting a bunch of unconscious thoughts like run the show, especially when we're feeling at capacity and, maybe with our schedule or with our stress or whatever it might be. Because at the end of the day, even if this is a joyous occasion, and for some people, many people, it's not. But if it is, there's still stress around it. If you have to get on a plane on Thanksgiving, it's tough, getting to the airport Thanksgiving week is tough. No matter how you slice or dice it, it's going to be a little bit stressful. So I think it's just about the way that we can be aware of our thoughts because they're so powerful and they really are what determine how we feel, how we react, the results that we have in our life. It's so huge. It's such a big part of our life that a lot of people are just not aware of. They're just not even realizing that this chatter is optional in a lot of cases. And we are not our thoughts, they're not facts. Like I had said earlier, thinking somebody is a difficult person is not a fact. We can question that thought that we're having and, decide what we want to do with it. So the first step's awareness and becoming aware that our brain can be a very sneaky place. Like we need to ask ourselves, is this true, what I'm thinking, or is there another way to think about it? Because if it's causing you pain and suffering, maybe we want to do something about that. And sometimes it's just like a thought that we're having to keep us safe. And that's what our brains do. They think they're keeping us safe, but sometimes they're just keeping us miserable. I think one of my favorite things that I talked about when I was doing life coaching was called a thought shift. And that's basically when we become aware of a thought and then we realize, okay, this is not serving me for whatever reason. I've dealt with a lot of shame and negativity when it comes to my body. Like I should look different. I should be a certain weight and I'm like never going to get to that weight, or all of these thoughts that are so negative and they don't serve me. And so helping myself to realize that, like, okay, this is not helpful. Like, what am I doing here? And how can I change it? How can I make a thought shift and create a new thought and a more productive one, so more supportive to my mental health, or whatever it might be. And it takes practice, but realizing that it doesn't have to be like that is the first step. And I don't want to go from like, oh, I'm not happy with the way I look to I'm the most beautiful person in the world, because like that's so far-fetched. But if I could just be like maybe a more positive one or more neutral thought to bridge that gap of like being so hard on myself and so negative, and I've done this for so many years, and to going to a better place where it doesn't cause me like so much suffering over something so silly. I think just all in all, with the holidays coming up, I think it just intensifies a lot of things that we're already thinking and believing, and the stresses that we're already having because we are short on time more. We are busier. We are, now entering a new part of the year where we're going to be spending more money, perhaps because the holidays are coming, and there's a lot of opportunity for more stress and chaos and like negativity in our lives. And we want to try to protect ourselves from that. I want to try to enjoy as much as I can. And I've said this on the other podcast about time, is I want to be present. I want to enjoy. I want to have fun. I want to, versus like maybe my old process was like, I want to make sure everything's perfectly clean. I want to make sure the dinner is perfect. Like that the focus wasn't where I am now. And I think that's going to help my stress with Thanksgiving, with the holidays, just in general. And the way I'm trying to look at my life too, because in general, I've been busier and it's a more conscious effort to get through my weeks and days in a positive way, I have to really be conscious of it because I could go negative by default because there's things I can complain about. And I do complain. If you're my friend listening to this, I complain. And I just want to be able to talk and process, but also I don't want to stay in that state. I don't like that feeling. I don't want to complain. I want to live a life where I can just try to look at the bright side and try to have that gratitude, those micro gratitude moments, because I know it feels better. And that's my goal. Like, I want to feel better. And that goes with my health journey that I've been on. I've talked about so many times. I just want to feel better. I want to feel good. And that goes for my brain as well. So I hope this helps anyone who might be struggling or worried or stressed. You're definitely not alone. And if you can do something nice for yourself, if you can have some thought pattern shifted when you're in a bad place and help with maybe gratitude or maybe some breathing or maybe some quiet time or doing what you need to do to help yourself and protect yourself during this time so that you can also have some joy and enjoy your time. I wish that for you. I hope that for everyone. I am so thankful for everyone who listens to this podcast. I'm so thankful and grateful that I've been able to share on here in January will be 3 years. So this is my 150th episode. I have never missed a week. I've released every Wednesday, and that just feels so good. It feels so nice to be able to share my thoughts with you and my guest experts with you. So thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. I'm so happy that everyone that contacts me tells me what they think of the podcast. I really appreciate all those messages. If you have not left a review, I really would appreciate if you could leave a review, share this with a friend. There's so many different topics that we have covered, and we have so many more to cover. So thanks again. I so appreciate you guys. I hope you have the most wonderful holiday week. I hope that as stress-free as possible, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe and review so we can reach more people who want to learn to glow alongside us. See you next time.